Good morning, everyone. I tried doing this video last night and I didn't have enough space on my hard drive. How sad is that? So it just canceled the whole video. Anyway, that's okay. It gave me more time to study it, and now we're gonna get into it. So today I'm going to be reviewing the double approach move. Now this move has destroyed me plenty of times in handicap games against down players. Even in even games, I don't always get the best results. Broth brought it up to me that he wanted a video on it, and I said that's a perfect idea because, I mean, how many people use handicap games that watch this channel, right? Including myself. I still use handicap. So anyway, we'll go over the double approach, and I hope this lesson will help you. On top of that, there's so much to cover that I'm only gonna go in parts. This will be part one. There's a lot to cover, so let's begin. So I'm just setting up the board. I mean, this is like a unnatural move, but I also think that it doesn't coax white to play over here, right? So it allows white to play here. So this is the start of it, where white will approach, and instead of like backing off or playing on top or whatever, you'd play a high pincer. This is used for fighting later on. Oh, we're gonna go with this one first. So this is the first double approach I'm gonna go over in part one. It's the low low. There's also the low high, and I don't know if there's a high high actually, but I know there's a low high. So anyway, we're gonna go over the low low today. Low knight's move approach double. So this stone here plays a key role in what you want. So when you played here, this is kind of like saying I want this, right? And so you want to stick with that plan. You don't want to counter that plan. If you were to play here, you would want a stone here. So because you have a stone here, this is the key direction you want to play with or work with. So this is the direction you're kind of making a wall this way facing this stone. Now the natural move when a stone connects to yours is to turn around on it, to try and turn it, and black extends. So now white has 4 options that I'm gonna go over today. Of course white has many more options, but these are the main 4 ones that you'll probably see. First we'll go over A. This is the most common one. To stick with your plan, if you remember the plan I mentioned earlier, is to build the wall this way to work with this stone and weaken this one. So to stick with your plan, this would be the move. White will play here. There's a weakness here, so black wedges. White ataris, and black connects. Now white is left with these weaknesses here, so white has to try and fix them. This would be one way. By playing this way, it actually makes this not sente. So, but first we'll go over how to make this sente, which is really cool. I wouldn't think of this in my own game. Hopefully now that I've studied it though, I will. And the thing is if you play here, there's a weakness. Let's say white didn't know that, right? So if white plays over here, black plays this. This is placing this stone in Atari, so white has to take, and now black can kill these 2 stones. And no matter how hard white tries, they should be dead. So like, oops. Well, yeah, that would kill it, right? So if white extends, it's dead. Two liberties, not enough. $2 or 2 cents too short. So that's why white will play over here when black plays this. This stone is dead, but it wasn't played to kill anything. It was played to help black create sente. You can see that like these white stones are getting like cupped. I don't know what you'd want to call it, but surrounded. So the natural move is for white to play this so he doesn't get completely surrounded. But let's say he didn't know that. Let's say he's confident the stone's dead, everything's all dandy. He doesn't like this wall, and so he plays this to like make sure black can't approach over here to make the wall bigger, right? So he tanukis. Well, if he does that at this moment of time, black can play this. Now this is really starting to look cramped. And then black can play this. And so black has sealed white in. White's only gotten this amount of points, whereas black has the opportunity to make this amount of points, considering that he sealed in, or even this amount of points. So this is a really, really, really good result for black. And that's why white will play here. And if we go back just to review, this is a key sacrifice. I mean, this is like awesome moves. I want to play these in my games, and I do sometimes. But you know, well, I can't say I'm at that professional level yet. So anyway, so let's see if we don't play the sacrifice, right? Because this was the correct move. White will actually come back here to not only take these points, but now he has 3 stones instead of 2 here. That makes a big difference. Black has to block, right? So white doesn't connect, keeping with his original plan. And now white has Sente. Originally, white didn't have Sente. He had to play here. But now he can play here for free. And by free, I mean if black was to try and play this, right? White doesn't have to play here anymore because he has an extra stone. White can just play this. And if you were stubborn and didn't think about it, didn't do your reading, then black just gets killed, and white gets some extra points, and this wall is looking even better than before. So point being is that you can if you can find a way to sacrifice stones to get Sente, Sente is way more important than 1 stone. That's a lesson you can take out of this Joseki. On top of learning Joseki, I found that it also teaches you a lot of principles on how the stones flow and move. That's the true reason to study Joseki, in my opinion. But we'll talk about that later. For now, we'll go over this lesson. So we were here. White plays A again. There's a different variation. This is the correct move if you want to stick with your plan. But let's say if you had a black stone over here or something, right? Then you could play this. It contradicts this stone, which you want all your stones kind of working together for the same plan. But once again, it's the whole board thinking. Like if you have a better situation over here, then why not play this move? White will play this to take the corner, and then black gets to crush the stone. Now this stone technically isn't dead, but it's not good to run it out. In the materials I studied, this was the end of the Joseki, but I figured I would look into it to show you why this wouldn't be a good move, even though it can live. Black has to keep running because he can't play here yet. There's too much weakness and not enough stones. And honestly, even when he gets to the point where he can play this, he wouldn't want to. He would want to keep building. White has to make, I think it's 8 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now white's alive. But look at this black wall. Look at how close this is to territory already. Black has these stones here, these stones here. This is humongous, and all he made was possibly 2 to 3 points once everything's settled. I mean, at max is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points, right? Not that he would make that, but that's at max. So 6 versus 40, I think I'd take the 40. Anyway, that's just my speculation on it. Once again, my materials are the Joseki ends here. So those are the 2 variations for A. We'll go over B. This wedge is still here, and this wedge will still create lots of white weakness. So black plays that first. White will connect. Instead of connecting this way because he doesn't have stones here or anything, he'll actually play this one. This is Sente, and you can argue that this is Sente too, but this is the first move order you want to take. And now black has this nice wall. The problem is if white cuts here, he'll actually be able to take this corner. So I would worry about this a lot, to be honest. You could try and push it. You could be like, hey, well, you know, black can play here. By the way, this is where the material ends, so this is the end of the Joseki. So a lot of the times when I get to the end of the Joseki, I'm like, well, what's next? You know what I mean? So I try and figure it out to the best of my ability. You could hope that this is Sente, and technically it is, but at the same time, as white, I'd feel pretty satisfied of taking this corner and breaking this moyo for black just to turn and seal me in. Right? Black gets this nice seal, which is really good. It might even be worth more than the corner, but in my opinion, I love me some cash. So I would, as white, I'd feel really happy here. So I would play this, and this actually protects the corner, I think, almost completely, because if white tries to cut, because you have two stones, you're perfectly fine. So anyway, so this is the end of the material. You can figure out your own follow-ups, or you know, don't, whichever. But I would look into it. Not that I play B too often. I usually play A, to be honest with you, if not C. So we'll go over C next. In my own games, well, once again, I compare this to my thinking. When I'm learning Joseki, I compare it to my thinking to see how different I play from like proper pro, you know, local play. In the material, it says to play here. This seems ballsy to me. I like it, and you know, once you get to the end of the Joseki, it's nice. So, but I probably wouldn't have played this move, to be honest with you, which makes me kind of sad. So in the material, black plays here. White doesn't want to get captured here too easy, so he connects, and then black takes the corner. So I can't say 100% that the corner is taken, but the, you know, in the material it says the black takes the corner, so I just believe it. White plays here for, you know, making the pinwheel shape, or the half pinwheel, whichever you call it. And the reason that nobody attars is because when you come out, it makes yourself stronger. So yeah, now white stones are they're hurting. Like if black gets a move here, these are hurting a lot. And then white stones are hurting on this side too. As long as black settled in here, then these sides are both hurting a lot once this black stone comes out. So this is Joseki. This is will lead to a fight, which the cross cut generally does lead to a fight. And so that's why most of the time I'd be like, I don't know if I want to play here. Probably play this first and then come out this way. But that's just me. That's not Joseki. And now that I know this Joseki, maybe I'll start playing that. So, alright. So, the correct move is for black to play here. This is the starting point again, where white cross cut. But instead, now white can play this. This does not lead a good result for black anymore. It's too, like, cramped and open, and it's just not good. I'll show you real quick, because it leads to the same thing, right? This isn't Sente anymore because this is too strong. And now you just have this cramped shape. So you can see like this is a big empty triangle here, and it's not good shape. So this isn't recommended in the material unless it's like a special case or something. So this is the next move. White doesn't want black to settle too easy, so white will connect here. Black tries to take the corner again, and white gets to play this. Now this leads to some really cool things, but we'll go through the obvious first. If black blocks this way, white can connect this way, and if black blocks this way, white can connect that way. So white, seems to me, gets a good result anyway, but we'll go over the lesser result first. This isn't that good because black has to come back here, right, because of the stone. And now white can play this, and he's linked up. He's made this whole corner his, and he has this big wall facing out this way. So this is really good for white, in my opinion. And the material, this is the correct move. But although this is the correct move, and this is, you know, it's pretty fancy, I'm not gonna say it isn't. This is the move that like really blows my mind. I've seen it in the pro game that I reviewed on YouTube here, the first one I reviewed with Park Juang, I think it was. And I also seen it in the attack and defense book that I read a couple of days ago. I've been rereading it, I should say. This shape is really cool because in my own games I would just play this, like that's what I would do. But because of this shape, black can't cut here because he made a tiger's mouth at his cutting point. So when white plays here, when black plays here, white just cuts. And now black can't do anything. Like, black's dead, no matter what. And it's all because of this awesome tiger mouth shape with this extension over here. So once again, before learning this, I've seen it 3 times now. It's just, I get happy when I'm studying, and then I continue to see shapes that I wouldn't play, but then I keep seeing them, and so I'm like, oh, maybe I'll play it now. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but I feel very happy when I'm like learning things and it's being reinforced. And so once again, I would have played something like this to stay connected, but this connects you in an awesome way and gives you eye shape and points. So the end of the Joseki itself is here. Black weakens these stones dramatically, so he gets something to attack while white gets settled in the corner and breaks up this moyo. In my opinion, I think this is better for white, but you know, Joseki material, they say it's even. So if you like attacking, you know, then it's probably as even. I'm more of a cash player myself, or at least I like to think I am. My teacher says I love attacking, which is true, so. But in this particular case, I would be like, oh, I feel like white has an advantage here. Anyway, we'll go back. So that was covering C, and that was both variations. Yeah, I covered the crosscut, variation 1, and then the 3-3, variation 2. So we're down to the last one. I know this video is a bit longer than my usual ones, but once again, this double approach just comes up so many times and wrecks so many lives that I want to cover this in full detail. D. Now, I must say, I do not like the materials Joseki here. It feels very outdated. But I didn't find anything else at the moment. I'm going to continue this in parts, so if I do find out a better move, then I will bring it to everyone's attention. So black plays here, and white plays this. This is what kind of feels outdated. I feel like white usually just cuts now right away, but well, I guess not right away. Normally he would play here, and then black gets a chance to play here, but because white stone's here, it almost feels like you can cut now. But I don't know. I'm not good enough to get the right results for this, so I'm going to stick to the material. So black now plays this kick, or the diagonal, and white does this triple diagonal, which is pretty cool. I like it. It doesn't come up a lot, but in these Josekis it does. Black plays on top, white connects here, and then black plays this to protect the corner. White tries to seal in black, but black is able to get out. White settles on the side so he can run out more, or run into the center. And then black finishes the Joseki with this move. So if it was to go out this way, once again it feels outdated. I don't know if anybody plays this anymore. Black gets the corner and he gets into the middle. Really good. Black gets a fighting chance on the side to, you know, make some points, make sure this influence doesn't make a lot of points here. And then white kind of looks like to me has a weak group on this side. I don't see an easy way to like settle this very quickly. And this looks like good shape, but what I mean is that I don't think it settles immediately into like two eyes. But anyway, so that's that, Joseki, for D. So I've covered all of them. I've covered A, B, C, and D. Now we'll go on to one more variation style for this part 1 video. And so this variation, if black has a stone out here and black has a stone here, then he actually, black itself gets different options that work pretty well. Except for B, I don't like B. And that it's funny too because I would only play B. This was the only move that made sense to me for a long period of time when playing higher Dom players with handicap. So anyway, black can play here just like in all the others. White turns, but instead of extending here, black can actually play here now to protect the corner. You can play these moves in the other variation, but without these two stones, they're just not as beneficial, so they're not as efficient. White will play this. Black can play this now. The shape is usually considered bad, but it's good for protecting the corner. White doesn't want black to undercut him, so I think he protects here. And then black actually gets to play on top of this white stone now. Just like when a stone touches another stone, the natural move is to Hane. Black extends, so now he's out into the center. And then white plays this. Black plays here. White plays this. Poking into the corner. Black Ataris. And now he's made his own, I think it's called the Ose shape. This Ose shape. And now black can protect the corner and make some points, but honestly I think this is the much better move. It's in Sente. It looks like all these moves are in Sente. This isn't in the material, by the way, but this is just my continuation of it. And then black can actually still live in the corner, even though he loses this stone. And so now these stones look extremely weak, and he built a lot of influence. But once again, the material ends here, stating that if white plays here, then black can still live in the corner, like I showed you. And I just put this here because I feel like this is a much, this is a really good move. I think it's necessary. And just to follow up again with my own follow-ups, is I love being able to get the double Hane. I've made a video on it, and I've been trying to get Broth into it. And every time it's weird, now that I do videos, and then I get to do these in my games or in my reviews, then I'm happy. I'm like, oh, once again, I'm reinforcing my studying. But anyway, well, who cares about what I like, right? So let's go back. This is the move. This is a very obvious statement. I think without knowing any of these Joseki, this is a very natural thing to do, and that's it splits white up, and it kind of makes it feel like white gets weak on both sides. Of course, white doesn't really get that weak. In fact, white just plays this. Black will block, keeping with his original strategy and wanting to kill this stone. Black builds a nice big wall this way, and then white is trying to either tear through it to get to the middle, or to make more points and settle it much easier. So white gets a decent corner, black gets a wall facing his stone. So that's this diagonal. And finally, this move I like a lot. I think this is cool because in most situations this is considered bad. it allows black to try and seal you in. But the key to this one is the fact that if you have a stone here at D10 and a stone here at K16, if you have these two stones, then this move is really good, especially if white falls for the bait and tries to seal black in. You can see the pinwheel. This is very natural. Whenever there's a cross cut, you don't want to Atari. You want to extend out because it helps you fight. And so now this side looks very weak, and you can see that if black gets this is a lot of points. And this side is also very weak, but he at least has a chance to continue to run out into the center or try and make at least one eye down here. But the fact is, if this side dies, look at this big wall facing this direction and these stones. You know, this is great. So this is a really good variation. When black has these two stones, this move is pretty good. Alright, I've covered a lot today on this double approach, and yet there's still way more to come. Part 2, I'll go over the Sanrensei. I'm sure a lot of players play this. I know I did in my double-digit Q days. I mean, even now I can play it because I know it, but I don't like. I'm not a big Moyo type of guy. I like playing a lot of cash moves. So anyway, once white plays here and black plays this is what we'll be covering, this double approach with the Sanrensei style next time. And there's also, I haven't studied it enough yet, but there's also this move. Now today we studied the two low ones. Maybe for video 3 we'll study the one high, one low. But for now, that took a lot of studying, a lot of learning, a lot of memorizing, so I'm ready to take a break of this Joseki. I hope everyone enjoyed it. I hope you guys learn it, especially if you're getting smashed by this by higher players all the time in handicap games and whatnot. So I don't know, take it easy, guys.